level is just too advanced. The bezel is Tiffany stamp. Don't grip on my hand. I know that I came with the slide from left to right, but now I don't wanna dance. I got too much on the line, too much on my mind, too much ain't enough of my plans. Nike don't pay me to tell you just do it. They pay me to show you I do it again. I can't be pale in my casket. Make sure I die with a tan. It's part of the brand. I know that I came with a slide from left to right, but now I don't wanna dance. Can I depend on a man? I slide some bread in the jam. That's just who I am. Custom just waving at us from the window. They don't even come on the plane when we land. Anyone else would retire, but I'm not content.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Locker Room, where today we're going to start off with myself and Nick going over the most recent Formula One Grand Prix in Miami. We've done it the past 2 years, and we're going to do it again. So starting off with the race itself, Kimi Antonelli gets his third straight win, looking amazing in that Mercedes. But also something to note is that the McLarens, Norris and Piastri, they get a double podium, second and third. And with Norris's win in the sprint race, they're looking great as well. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, weird start to the race. I mean, we had like 2 crashes, 4 drivers getting out. Sad to see Isaac Hadjar crash again. It's like his 3rd DNF of the year. But yeah, I mean, good job to Kimi Antonelli. I mean, Mercedes, I think, is a definite contender to win the Constructors. And I mean, the McLarens were fast. I just think Mercedes were better. But some of the penalties that happened after the race, Max Verstappen getting that 5-second penalty, and then Charles Leclerc getting that 20-second penalty that put him down to 8th. But yeah, I think it was a great race overall.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to give it to Kimi because although that Mercedes is a rocket ship that he's in, it's also a lot of just himself and his racecraft and his pace, because George Russell and the other Mercedes did not have the pace this weekend, and he hasn't really had like his pace since Australia when he won. And I mean, if it wasn't for Leclerc crashing out, he would have gotten 5th place. Yeah. And yeah, it's a little concerning for George because people were coming into the season talking about him being the title favorite, being the one who should be the favorite to win the championship, and now he's sitting 20 points behind his teammate. And yeah, I think that he really needs to get back on track.
Yeah, I think that Russell is definitely still a contender for the championship, but the thing with Mercedes is that last year, in Antonelli's first year with Mercedes, there were a lot of doubts heading into the season of like a Formula 2 guy jumping right into a Mercedes car, not going to the lower teams first. But, I mean, Antonelli, it's year 2 for him, and he's already won 3 out of the 4 races of the season. And I think that, and this kid's like 1 year older than us, basically.
Yeah, so he's our age, and he's leading the championship.
Yeah, so he's got a long career ahead of him, and he's going to get that title if it's not this year.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to talk about Ferrari real quick because they were looking really strong to start the season, especially Leclerc getting 2nd place, a few podiums in there. Hamilton, I think, got a podium or 2, but they really struggled this weekend. I mean, Leclerc took the lead early, but he just did not have the pace of Kimi or the 2 McLarens, and especially him spinning out at the end. And Hamilton just didn't have it all race. Do you think that Ferrari are going to continue to struggle, or do you think that they can bounce back?
No, I think they're going to get better. I mean, it's race 4 out of like a 20-race season. But the sad part is for Ferrari is I think they had the most package upgrades coming into this race for their cars, and they still got 8th and 7th, I think. So, but I mean, yeah, I think Ferrari are going to get better. I mean, in the past 3 races, I think that they've shown they've got a lot better than last year. And yeah, but I think those Mercedes cars, their straight line speed is insane.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. But Leclerc is still in 3rd place in the championship by just a few points over Norris. As we said, Antonelli leading 20 points over Russell, then Leclerc, then Norris, then I believe Hamilton or Verstappen, and then Piastri. Like they're all in there. Mm-hmm. But looking ahead to the championship, who do you got winning it?
I mean, it's close, but honestly, I think Russell's going to win. I think Antonelli is going to struggle later in the season, and I think he's going to get captured by his teammate.
I agree with you 100%. I think this is George's year. We saw last year where Norris was coming into the season, talked about as the favorite. Then Piastri got hot, got ahead, but Norris wound up catching him up and taking the title. I think that exact same thing is going to happen this year. And it's not to say that Piastri or Antonelli won't get a championship. I think they both will at some point. But I think George has served his time, and I think this is his year.
Yeah, I think there's no way that George would let his teammate get a championship before him, especially that he's been in the car longer. But yeah. I think the championship is going to go to one of those Mercedes.
Yeah, no, I agree. They've been insane this year.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for this segment on the locker room. But don't go anywhere because we got NBA coming up next.
Welcome back to the locker room. So we're going to talk about the second round of the NBA playoffs, starting with this Knicks and 76ers series. I mean, Luke, what are your thoughts on this series 2 games in?
Knicks have been playing really good basketball recently, especially like end of the first series against Atlanta and then into the second series against Philly. They looked really good in Game 1, blew them out, didn't really have to play any of the starters late. Game 2, you got the win, but their best player in the playoffs so far, OG Anunoby, got hurt at the end of the game, and I think that could cost him if he has to miss any time, and it's going to be a struggle to win without him with how he's been playing.
Hey, Luke, I agree. I think there was a midway point through the Hawks series where the Knicks just really turned it around and showed what they can do. I mean, we were at one point doubting them, and it looked like the Hawks even had a chance at winning the series, and then they just completely turned it around and dominated, and they brought that same energy into the Sixers series. I think we both said the same thing last week, that the thing for the Sixers is going to be Joel Embiid staying healthy, and he missed the last game. First game, the Knicks just dominated. I personally think the Knicks will take this series in 6 games at most, but that's a bit risky saying that because anything can happen. We saw Philly go down 3-1 last series, so don't want to speak too soon, but I do see the Knicks taking the series.
Yeah, Philadelphia are also coming off like a 2 days rest after that Game 7 win in Boston. But honestly, I think with the way this Knicks team is playing, I think they can beat just about anybody. I think that they're playing better than OKC right now. But in that game too, I mean, the officiating was just awful. I mean, there is a few fouls. I think it was a foul on Hart, but he didn't even touch Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, they had a couple.
And they called it a foul.
They had a couple. I feel like really second, third quarter against the Knicks that were just terrible calls, and they were arguing. But I mean, you end up winning the game. The free throws at the end of the first half, the free throws. Mike Brown talked about it. There was a terrible they had so many more free throws, and the Knicks attacked the paint much more, and Philly shoots more. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with the Anunoby injury, I think that they're lucky to get away with it day to day. I mean, that's an injury that could put them out for multiple weeks and possibly for the rest of the
they're lucky
series.
they're up 2-0 right now because I assume Anunoby won't play in Game 3 tonight and probably won't play in Game 4, and you hope to have him back after that. You need one of these in Philly. I would say winning a game in Philly would set you up well if you go up 3-1 going home because who knows what's wrong with Anunoby. You could win this series because you're already up 2-0 without him. I can't see them winning another series without him. He's that good of a player.
Yeah, going back to what you said, Jake, I think you're definitely right. I think the key for the Sixers to win is Embiid staying healthy. I think that if he stays healthy, I think that gives Philadelphia a great chance. But, I mean, he missed half of the first round, and he missed Game 2, so I don't know what that brings for the rest of the series.
Yeah, it's honestly unpredictable. And, I mean, we saw what he brought in that half of the series that he did play, so it's definitely a huge piece. And as for the Knicks, they absolutely need Anunoby. I think if they're able to steal one in Philly, that'll put them in good shape. But for the future and the rest of the playoffs, they absolutely need Anunoby. He's been such a huge piece, not only this year in the playoffs, but just every year. They absolutely need him. And as for the officiating, yeah, it's been terrible, but it's been terrible all around the NBA. I mean, if you want to move to the OKC series,
it's
been terrible
in
that series. I mean, I'm not saying the Lakers are going to win or that they should win the series. They probably won't. Well, they're not going to. But there's one. This is just one of the 5 plays that happened last night. Chet Holmgren got barely nudged in it, and he was holding his face in the ground. He flinched back and holds his face in the ground. You look at the replay. If you're going to say he got pushed, sure. He didn't even get pushed, and it was right here, and he's just holding his face in the ground for 20 seconds. I mean, it was just terrible. The whole team had to actually go up to the refs and discuss it with them. But I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like
the officiating's been bad around the NBA.
yeah. I mean, people criticize Shea for flopping and for being annoying to watch, but it's kind of the whole Thunder team. Like they all
Yeah.
kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, another thing about that series is OKC leads 2-0 already. LeBron has been playing really well, but you could see at this point, at 41 years old, he just can't carry a team to beat a super team like the Thunder anymore like he was able to in his prime. He just can't do it. Without Luka, they really have no chance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised the Lakers got past the first round with no Reeves, no Luka, but I'm glad to see that Reeves is back now. But can we talk about for OKC last night in Game 2? Jared McCain, 18 points off the bench. I mean, that's got to be the steal of the season at the trade deadline for the Thunder.
He had a great game 1 too, and Jared McCain is one of my favorite players. He had a tremendous rookie year until he got injured, a few months in. So that was sort of rough. Obviously, it hasn't been the exact same after the injury, but I mean, it feels like the 76ers just sort of gave up on him and traded him for basically nothing. That's exactly what you said, Nick. A steal to one of the best, probably the best team in the league. So, yeah, Thunder absolutely got a steal. I'm excited that Jared McCain's doing well, bouncing back after that injury.
Yeah. So now to the other West series, San Antonio and Minnesota. That series is tied right now 1-1. Victor Wembanyama in Game 1 set an NBA record with 12 blocks in a single game. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, they still lost that game, though. And Wemby didn't really do anything on the offensive end. He had, 11 points. But they bounced back in Game 2 and won by, 40. So that was pretty impressive. The key right now for the Timberwolves is Anthony Edwards' health. I mean, he's been playing. I don't really know how. There's, a week after they said he'd be out with a knee injury for, a month when we all saw his knee.
It was a hyperextension
Yeah,
injury that
completely,
should be
bend the wrong way. I don't know how he's even playing right now.
And I would say, he doesn't look full health,
Yeah.
but, he doesn't look that bad. Like he doesn't look like he's, limping around either. He could still move. I don't know how much it's hinder. I don't think any of us really know how much it's hindering him right now. But, yeah, I think the key, like you said, Luke, is definitely Anthony Edwards, and I think it's the guard play. I mean, we saw it was, halfway through Game 2. Anthony Edwards he was shooting a terrible percentage. The rest of the guards were too. Randall was really the only one hitting shots, and that was midway through the second half, and then sort of just all collapsed. I think it's going to be really tough for them, especially because DiVincenzo is out for the whole playoffs. It's going to be tough for them. The guards really have to step up. We saw Desamnu and Bones Highland step up last series, but, it's going to be a question on if they can this series. And, we see they can win the series. They can take advantage of the Spurs' inexperience, but I think this one can either, it could go either way.
Yeah. So going to the Eastern Conference semifinal series, Cleveland and Detroit. Cleveland, both teams actually coming off Game 7 wins. But for Cleveland, they're down 2-0 right now, and James Harden has 42 turnovers, I think it is, the first 2 games. That's actually 42 turnovers for the entire playoffs.
I was about to say.
But has 11 for the 2 games in this series.
Yeah, this is what we see in the playoffs from James Harden every single year. 10 points in the loss last night, shooting a terrible percentage from the field. And they traded for him in the middle of the year thinking that he was going to have a piece that helped them get to the championship in a weaker Eastern Conference. But he's doing the complete opposite. He is not the reason they're losing, but he's not helping them win like they expected. And this Detroit team is really good. They're tough defensively. They're tough to score on. But their offense, they don't really have – they have Cade Cunningham, who's a great player. Duren's a great player. After that, there's not really another, true scoring option. And I could see Cleveland winning a couple of games just because they're going to be low scoring and they could end up hitting big shots at the end, and Detroit doesn't really have a second guy who could create offense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is what we see with James Harden all the time. He's been on quite a few teams now. And I said it earlier in the year, when he got traded and he was playing really good, and he played all right in the beginning of the playoffs. But I said, he joins a new team, he starts going off, and everyone gets excited saying they're championship contenders. And they just get to the playoffs, and Harden just always seems to underperform, and that's just the issue. I could see the Cavs taking a game or two, but I think the Pistons have really started to figure it out now after a lot of people thought that Orlando was going to bounce them in round 1. I think they sort of got their momentum back, and I think they figured it out. I think it's going to be them versus the Knicks in the conference finals, and that's why I think it's the Knicks year, because I think they have a clear path to the championship if they play their cards right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in Detroit there was some panic when they went down 3-1 to Orlando in the first round.
Yeah.
But you're right, Luke. I think that they gained their momentum, and I think that I'm sticking with my finals pick. I think it's going to be San Antonio and Detroit in the NBA finals. So we'll see.
Yeah, as a Knicks fan, I'd really like Cleveland to steal some games, have this series go to hopefully 7, and if the Knicks could finish the series quickly in 5 or 6. That would be nice to get some rest, get Anunoby some rest, because it's going to be a tough series against Detroit. They play physical, they play fast. It's going to be, you need to get healthy, you need to have rest before playing that series. And if Cleveland can win some games, then you'll have that opportunity. If Detroit wins in 4 or 5, I think it's going to be a much tougher series against them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's going to be it for the locker room this week. We'll see you next week.